It's that time again. It's time for the Coffee Break Show. I want to let you know we're going to rock your world today. But first, nobody gets in without listening to the music. I'll see you in a second. I just want to say that you're on the Success Secrets for Business, Family, and Life channel. This is brought to you by Metadime Digital. This is the Coffee Break Show. And I want to welcome to the Coffee Break Show team, University. I know you're like, wait a minute, how did the Coffee Break Show get there? Well, we are now on the University channel as well. I just want to say thank you to everybody for being here. I want you to meet the most amazing woman in the planet right now, Lynne Bowman. Welcome to the Coffee Break Show today.
Thank you. And that's the only time I've ever been introduced that way. I love it. Being the most amazing anything is super fun. I love it.
Oh, we've been talking afterwards. I just absolutely adore her. We've been talking afterwards and before the show got started. And we have some things that are so important. You guys, I see you popping on. I see you. Okay. My executive producer pops in. Hi, welcome to the Coffee Break Show, Lynne. Thank you very much. So as you start coming in to talk about what we're going to be talking about today, put your name down below and be part of the conversation. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, if you're listening on Roku TV or Amazon TV or Audible or Pandora, wherever you are, relax. All the show notes are going to be there. Good morning, Mr. Ambassador. I'm so glad to see you. Happy Wednesday, all. This is going to be one of the most important conversations. I want to let you know my internet has been wonky with me this morning. So Lynne is going to be the clear picture and I'm going to be kind of pixelated. Then I'll be back, but we're going to keep rolling with it. So what we are going to be talking about today is how to reverse chronic disease. And we're going to be doing the reversal in a very holistic way today. And I want to talk about this now because every single person needs to hear this. And Lynne just asked me if we could talk about my story. Most of you know it. Last year in March, exactly a year ago on the 9th, I was diagnosed with diabetes. Now, I have been healthy all my life, never anything, etc. And suddenly this came out of nowhere. And what happened was I decided that it was not going to be on my watch. I was not going to take medication for it. I was going to heal it because I knew it could be done. And Lynne is an expert that has already done what I'm doing. And we're going to be talking today about how to gain more health, how to get to the point where you are not maybe lifetime addicted to having to take pharmaceuticals, we'll call it that, and how you can reverse your chronic illness. Welcome here. And I just want to hear about your story. How did this start for you? How did you come to this? Tell us all everything. Tell us from the beginning what happened.
Well, Vickie, it's a long story because I'm, as you know, older than dirt. So, well, and I'm really proud of that. Every day that I wake up and I'm still breathing, I think, yes, girl,
Yeah.
you go now. But I was diagnosed relatively early in my life, in my early 40s, with type 2 diabetes. And when my kids were born, I was told that I had gestational diabetes and I would probably develop type 2 diabetes, which is a common thing. Now they actually carefully test pregnant moms to see if that's the case. But back in the day, it was like, yeah, well, maybe. And by the way, all the doctors were men. So who all told you how much they knew about having babies. So I found out that this was going to be my path, and my mother had died when I was 18, and that, as it does, affected my whole life.
Of course.
My view on everything. And I was determined when I had kids that I was not going to leave them, that I was going to stay on my feet and stay healthy and be strong and
beautiful, do
whatever I needed to do. It was a sort of, well, and I guess, but it was also this kind of Scarlett O'Hara thing where I was like, God darn it, I am going to be here for them.
Yes. Yes.
So I asked everybody and I read everything, and so this is decades going, wait, doesn't anybody have any really good, clear, and I was in the communication business. I mean, that was how I made my living and supported my kids. And so I was always all about a message and how do you convey information to people? And yet here I was unable to get good information about what to do, and there would be all these things about the cells and the what, and the chemistry, but nobody was willing to say, here's
What
what
you do.
you do. And the best they could do back in the day was, well, you have to lose weight, you have to be as thin as you can be, and you have to not eat sugar and kind of keep your carbs limited and so on. So
Yep.
that put me on a path of eating a lot of protein, a lot of meat, and not too many potatoes,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
too much bread, and I kind of fought my way through it for decades, and did okay, doing
Mhm.
that, and I was always trying hard, as much as mother of many and full-time career person can try, to exercise, to walk, to do the things that just the sort of basic health things that we know to do. And of course, you're also told that, well, it's a progressive disease. And the older you get, the more this will become a problem for you. So um, so
Biting my lip right now.
I began to write this book, Brownies for Breakfast, my recent book, just wanting it to be a joyful, sort of upbeat guidebook, the one I never had, for how to deal with type 2 diabetes. And I wanted it to be for the whole family, because I'm tired of hearing everybody talking about Junior eating this and coming home, and then grandma's got to have that, and then daddy won't eat this. And
Oh,
you know, so,
yeah. Yeah.
so I mean, talk about crazy making, as if we didn't already have enough complexity and enough to do.
And I wanna talk about that for a second. We have made diets a billion-trillion-dollar industry, and
Oh,
thus, we have so much complexity around what we eat, how we eat, when we eat. There's the carnivore diet, then there's the vegan, and then the keto, and the paleo, and da 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 da. And that to me is the biggest thing. What if it was just simple? What if
it
some of the
is.
things were
I got
just
news for
simple?
you.
And
It
that's the
is.
thing we're gonna be talking about right now. I see you guys moving on. I just wanna pop this up. There wasn't a naturopathic function medicine way of dealing with any chronic disease. You were a trendsetter, and that's what we're looking at. At the time she started, there was no internet. There wasn't YouTube with all these doctors on there saying, "Don't listen to this, go do this." This is somebody who did it, crossed the valley by themselves, and this is the beauty of what's happening. So continue with the story of how you figured this out and what you did.
So I started writing this book and got about halfway through, and got a notion and it's so interesting to me where these notions come from. I swear, sometimes there's just a message and you listen.
Yep. Yep.
And I found myself anting up a bunch of money and going to a conference in 2019 of the Plantricians, which is
Ooh.
an organization of MDs from all over the world. And they are all, they're internal medicine, they're surgeons, all different kinds of MDs, but they are the outliers, or have been the outliers, who have insisted, because they've seen with their own eyes and they've seen the data, that you can in fact heal with food, and you
That's
should
right.
in fact heal
Heal
with
with
food.
food. Amen, sister. You're speaking my language. You go.
So it was people like Dean Ornish, his name.
Yep.
He's been
Yep.
out
Yep.
there in the wilderness, for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was T. Colin Campbell, who actually didn't make it there, but I was all fangirly about meeting T. Colin Campbell. And if you don't know his name, then show notes, help us with that. But
Yep.
and Michael Greger, who's also kind of big on the scene now that there is an internet. So for 5 days, I watched these PowerPoints from 8 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night about the data that we have now and more
Wow.
data. And I listened to the stories of these docs, the surgeons particularly, talking about opening up 8-year-old kids and finding their veins full of plaque because of the way we're eating now and the way we are feeding our children now. So at the end of that conference, and by the way, eating a lot of really bad vegan food at the conference. It was at some Marriott or something, and they were trying hard to feed all these people a plant-based diet. And I just thought, oh my God, this food is awful. So let's start there.
I know in America, chicken is the vegetarian choice.
Yes, exactly. So at the end of this conference, and I've told this story before, but I love it because anyone who's been through it knows I get in the car, my husband picked me up, and I said the thing that all men dread, which is, guess what? He said, what? I said, I'm vegan now. So we actually ran an experiment, and he bought in, was great about it. But for 6 months, I had just had my numbers done, and for 6 months, I did not touch any animal food. And I mean, this is a girl who never met a pork chop she didn't like, and a steak, and because these were things I was allowed to eat, and I ate them. But now, boom, vegan for 6 months. I mean, religiously, not a bite. Off track. And at the end of the 6 months, I went in for my regular test, which hemoglobin A1C, everybody out there, if you are over 40 and you have not had a hemoglobin A1C test, do it. And I don't care if you're a guy, you got to still do it. Because this tells you what your blood glucose is over a period of time. So it's a good measure, not just of today and this week, but a good measure of how you're doing with it. And that's information that the sooner you get it, the more useful it is to you. So, okay, that's my little commercial. So I went back to the doc, got my blood work done, and she said, oh, you're down 3 points. She said, that just doesn't happen to women your age.
Wow.
So there you go. Yes, it does. And that's how you do it.
That's right.
So since I ran this experiment, and since I finished the book, and the book started out in a different way, but it ended up being something that you can absolutely use as a vegan, as a vegetarian, as a diabetic, as a non-diabetic. It's a simple guidebook to how to eat and how to cook. And
This is some of the most important things right here, because I know on my journey, I just want to pop this up. Hey, Peter, first off, nice to see you, my friend. Food does much more than simply provide you with fuel. It promotes or worsens health depending on what you eat. And I want to tell you, this is the thing about being youthful. If you don't have any allergies or you don't have any illnesses, you have a tendency to think that whatever you eat is going to be good for you, and you're going to digest it and it's going to be full, So Lynne recommends getting your A1C done for anyone over the age of 40. And I wish I would have heard that when I was 40. I wish I would have heard that, because you don't think anything is wrong with you. You're always going to be strong and healthy, etc. And there is a point where when you're truly taking care of yourself, 40 is super pivotal. 40 is something where 40, 50, and then 60, these are things where you want to begin the anti-aging thing. And I love the eating habits. The first thing I did, and I want to be really open, I want to be as transparent as possible. When I got my A1C done, it was 343. And I don't know what that means. I didn't know what it meant. I was like, okay. But I will tell you this. I remember thinking and telling my partner, I was like, it feels like my eyes are getting worse really fast. I'm not sure what's wrong.
Mm.
And I didn't understand, you don't know what diabetes does on it's like cancer. Nobody knows anything about cancer till they have it. So you're looking at diabetes right now, and suddenly I was like, when I did the research and I started looking into my own diabetes right now, I really was like, you have to get to the point where you're not on my watch. No more am I going to be ignorant, because we're so ignorant, because our pleasures and ease of having food in front of us in minutes that we don't have to grow, cook, or assemble or do anything to, makes it so it becomes a pleasure and not the thing that Peter was just talking about, which is fuel and something that promotes health or worsens your health. Just want to talk over here. Hey, Ross, nice to see you, my friend. Most doctors don't know how to diagnose diabetes. I agree with that. Peter's Black, I see you guys coming in. I really want to make sure we're there. A nutrient-dense diet of whole foods has been shown to prevent many chronic diseases and may
Yes,
help
yes,
treat some
yes,
conditions such as diabetes. So
yes.
I was with her. I literally knocked out all the potatoes. I knocked out all the grains. I've just added legumes in because that plant-based diet, I know, helps everything go down. Now, over a year, the transformation, the first thing that transforms is your attitude about you. The second thing that transforms is what you're eating and your attitude about your foods and your longevity. And the third thing is you have to get educated, just like she was doing. You have to be willing at 40 to say, this vessel is going to carry me. And I want to let you know, after I changed my eating habits, like I haven't had a carb in, I don't know, so long.
Well,
Well,
Vicki,
beans are
you
carbs.
can eat carbs. You can eat carbs.
It's the type of carbs.
What I'm here to tell you is that just like your friend Mr. Anton said, it's nutrient dense food that you're looking
Yep.
for. It's whole food,
Yep.
real food.
Yep.
That's what you're looking for.
And
And
that's the things we eat.
and
That's
the big surprise for everyone is that you will eat better than you've ever eaten because all of a
and
sudden,
that's the truth right there.
yes,
You don't
yes,
know how good it is to eat real food. You don't, it's like you start feeling
right.
my exhaustion in the afternoon is gone.
Right.
It's
And an
gone.
important thing that I think it's really important to tell people is that your chemistry will change. And you are addicted to sugar. Almost everybody in this country is addicted, and sugar
Mhm.
is in fact more addictive than heroin. That's not a metaphor. That's the data right there.
Yeah,
And
and
so
those of you who think that you're not taking heroin and you're not addicted, you're lying to yourself.
you're
Sugar
lying.
is the addiction.
It is the addiction. And so if I said to you, well, yeah, I'm on heroin, but I'm going to cut back. What would you say to me? You'd say, girl, drop it like a hot rock. And so when you get that through your head, and when you stop, the big surprise, well, there are a number of big surprises, but one of them is your chemistry changes, your
Yes.
saliva changes, your
Wow.
taste changes, your
Mhm.
body is going to physically react to the lack of sugar. And at first it's going to be like, where's my sugar? Where's my sugar? Right? But then all of a sudden you'll go, wait, I'm good. I'm okay. And you will become like many of us where I can't eat sugar anymore. It tastes bad to me.
Yeah.
I
It's too
feel what
sweet.
it's doing to my body, makes me
Yeah.
thirsty. It's wrong. So you have
Yeah.
to have a little faith that that is going to happen. And your kids are addicted to sugar. And we are carrying around these coffee drinks all day that have nothing in them but dairy and sugar and a little bit of coffee at the bottom. And the dentists are all screaming. It's like my affluent patients are coming in with their front teeth rotting out from sugar, from their
Yeah.
coffee drink.
Yes.
So, make the connection. And the food industry has been selling you crap for, 60, 70 years and telling you that it was good. And you bought it and you believed it. And you need to, y'all, you're enjoying your conspiracy theories of all kinds, but here's the big one. You
That's
have
the
been
food
eating
is the
crap,
biggest. Yes.
you know?
Yes. I wanna talk about, I want to talk about the food industry in that way, but there's so many people. I'm getting to you guys. I promise. I'll get there as fast as I can. In my medical practice, I used to say that 50 was a pivotal age with small daily choices making such a huge difference. But really, every age is important. Those little choices can create an extreme athlete or someone with alphabet soup of chronic illnesses.
Yeah.
So true. Ross says, I strongly recommend everyone gets a food sensitivity test. Ooh, that's a very good suggestion. And I appreciate your wife's YouTube channel for healthy cooking. That's for Peter and Mary France. Mary France has this healthy cooking for food lovers. She does incredibly good food. People eat so much because their bodies are starving for nutrients. This is
Ross
where
is
I want
right
to
on.
go right
Yes.
now. This is the bottom line right now.
Right.
There we have, this is interesting. We found that noni juice helps you with diabetes. The Polynesians have been using it for 3,000 years to heal many diseases. Yes, that is very interesting, but I want to come back right here. This Our soils are so depleted. What we grow, and even to me, even the vegetables, even if you have the deep greens like the kales and the shards and the spinaches, they are so lack of nutrient compared to even 50 years ago. But our soils are so lack of nutrients. What do you do about this piece of it so that your body is getting some of the stuff it needs?
You source your food better.
Mm-hmm.
You sign up with the CSA, you shop at the
Mm-hmm.
farmer's market, you order stuff online that can be ordered online now, to be delivered to your door. You grow food. It's so important, and I really, really love getting this message across to families. So many people ask me, "How do I get my kids to buy? How do I get my kids to eat vegetables and so on?" And a kid will eat what a kid grows, and a kid will eat
Yes.
what a kid cooks. So, and it's even if it's a pot of parsley on your sink, every time you grow food with actual real dirt and make yourself aware of
Mm-hmm.
where that food is coming from, you'll get a step closer to feeling great and looking good and curing yourself. Because yes, the dirt has been badly abused,
Yep.
and we got to fix it. So it's impossible to talk about healthful eating without talking about the
Yes.
soil, the animals, factory farming,
Yes.
what we've done in our foodways and our food supply to make it challenging just to get good food.
You
But
know,
and
that I wanna talk about that for a second. It is challenging to get good food, but what she just said is so important. We have become addicted to comfort and convenience. And with that comfort and convenience, we have depleted our soils, depleted our minerals in our body. And there is nothing more powerful than having your own orchard and your own gardens. We grow food every single year because you can make your soil strong enough. Now, does it take effort? Yes. Does it take time? Yes. Is it convenient? You can go to a farmer's market and buy conventional food or buy organic food. And I believe the extra cost of the organic food outweighs the extra cost of heart surgery or a stroke or having any kind of long-term illness. This is the point that is so important because in conventional foods, what is your opinion on GMOs? I mean, we'll get there, but this is the thing for me. I'm not very big on the GMO thing. I like the natural occurring foods. I'm so aligned with how Lynn is talking about what we need to do to support ourselves. What we need to do is change and have the love of health be better than the love of convenience. And that addiction to sugar is because that addiction to sugar, we are so addicted to convenience and sugar, we're making ourselves unhealthy. And you need to take your power back by doing those things that Lynn is suggesting. And some of the people in the audience, you guys are dropping good bombs today with insights and information. I want to go back to what you, I want to ask with Ross, what do you think of GMOs? And then how do you supplement if you supplement? How do you supplement what you're eating if you don't feel like you're getting enough nutrition? Do you use any uh, herbal supplements or things like that to add to your immune system or your well-being?
I take vitamin D and,
Absolutely.
yeah, a couple of other things, and,
Mhm.
and I wanna talk about metformin for a second, Vicki, because you
Yeah, I won't do it.
well, but you know
You
what?
go, let's go.
It's a new kind of rage in the longevity industry because it mimics fasting in your body, and people are wanting to get metformin even when they're not diabetic because they see it as having these great longevity benefits. So, if in fact it is prescribed for you, that's one drug that I wouldn't be terribly afraid of. It's got good reviews, and as you know, I'm not into prescribed drugs in any
Me
way.
neither.
Possibly live without them, you should. But
Yeah.
another thing that we need to talk about in GMOs, we right here where I live, it's sort of an epicenter for regenerative agriculture, and all these
Ooh.
farms are popping up with folks really reviving their earth and growing animals in a healthy way, and I'm excited about all of that. But a thing that still it's like our bodies are all a piece. You know, we're not separate. We're not like a head on top of a machine that goes. It's all one system, and so is the earth. It's all
Yes.
connected, and you can't talk about good, healthy eating without talking about a table, without talking about sitting down and eating. If you're sitting on the dirt, great. If you're sitting in a tent, great. But we are meant to eat together. We are not meant to eat out of a paper bag. We are not meant to eat sitting alone in a car, doing chicken bits or whatever it is. And I would really encourage people to think seriously about what they're doing when they're eating with their children, with their loved ones, with their friends. And you know, that's a physiological
Yes.
thing. If you're eating alone in front of the television at 11 o'clock at night and you're shoving pizza down your throat, I guarantee that it is everything wrong and nothing right. First of all, don't eat late. You know, you got to stop eating before dark. Um, it's now there's all kinds of great data about one meal a day, two meals a day. Great. We were told back in the day, you got to keep eating all day and small meal. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
No. And when you think about it, it's so obvious that our Paleolithic ancestors were not eating all the time. They
That's right.
couldn't eat all the
They
time.
couldn't. There wasn't a way to do that. Yeah,
No, we
I'm
were
with you.
hardwired not to eat for periods of time. And
I'm so riveted by what you're saying. I realize that my cameras haven't moved or anything. I'm just so riveted by this conversation. I just want to say thank you.
well, thank you. You know, I'm on my little bully pulpit here, wanting everybody. I mean, 85% of us, Vicki, have chronic diseases in this country that are unnecessary. They're preventable
Mhm.
and reversible and manageable. And the sooner you start on it, the better.
Yes. And I want to stop there for a second. This is so important what she just said. No matter where you are on the physical journey, if you are at perfect health and wellness, if you are at not quite so perfectly health and wellness, that she just said is so important. And you know, stop to me the thing that reversed for me. And Peter, I want to get to your statement and you guys, I'll be there in a minute. But what she's saying is so important. It's like the quality of your life starts first with the food you're ingesting. It's not the knowledge you have. Nobody gives a crap about that. It's not how spiritually advanced you are. You can't be spiritually advanced when your body isn't feeling well. It is the thing that you put in that helps you manifest outward. And this is so important to understand this because you are being served sluggishness. And that's the thing that's going to be really hard for you to let go of. You're addicted to convenience and sluggishness. And when you turn this around, the sharpness of your mind, your energy comes back. Aging doesn't have to be painful. Aging can be wonderful and spectacular. And it is something that's there. And I want to let you know, I'm so glad and grateful for the gift of this. I am not going to metformin my way anywhere. I have gotten to the point where this is almost gone, and I've been doing it every day by doing exactly what Lynne is talking about and exactly what you can do. And I want to say this too, because Peter, I know this. Peter sells this mineral supplement. I use it. It's fantastic. Mineral supplement, modern diets can lack key nutrients. Mineral supplements fill in important nutritional gaps, providing your body with essential amino acids, vitamins, and trace minerals harvested from ancient sea salt mines. Farmers are adding minerals to their souls. I hope
I
that's
mean,
soils, and giving minerals to their animals, minerals to their souls. That is the best typo I've ever seen. I love it. Thank you. Ross says, oddly, the pharma business added longevity to its benefits as metformin was getting a bad rap. It's not that I have anything against pharmaceuticals, because trust me, if I had to have surgery, I definitely want anesthesia. But to the point where there is outsourcing my health and well-being to anybody, whether it's pharma or restaurants. And I want to continue talking about eating and eating with people there, in your daily routine as social gets there. Amen, sister. I was told to eat every 2 hours, which I did religiously for 50 years. If the minerals are not in the soils, plants, or our food, they are not in you. Mineral deficiencies can lead to a variety of health problems, such as weak bone, fatigue, and decreased immune systems. You guys, I'm going to go back to her. I see you guys, you are talking so much. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being here. The conversation is live and real. And I want to continue on, because I think pulling the knowledge out of someone this is a person who healed themselves, and this is the biggest, most empowering thing you can learn to do, whether it's emotional healing, physical healing, relationship healing, whatever it is. How can you take your power back? That's what we're talking about. This is why I'm doing it this way. I'm doing it this way. The discipline is good for me, but I want to take my power back. And this is where knowledge and action meet to create health. That's what we're talking about. How to get rid of that sluggishness and everything. So, one of the things that you said, Lynne, that I really appreciated was, I am super busy. I have 3 companies and I do 2 shows, and I have, all the books that I do out. I speak usually all over the world when I'm not tied down because of a pandemic. But one of the things I do every single day is, for that hour a day that we make a meal, everything stops and we go to the table and we eat together. And even if we talk about, bicycle plans, because I like to mountain bike, whatever we talk about, that sitting down and being present with a meal helps me feel satiated, not just in my belly, but in my need for contact, in my need to feel that social piece, in my sense of wanting to be belonging and having connection with my spouse. That to me is one of the key things that brings me joy, a sense of calm, and a sense of safety in my community. And whether I'm eating alone or whether I'm eating in a group of people, that sitting down and being present with that whole piece at the table and what you're serving yourself, you start to become aware of what you're putting in your mouth and how you're feeding yourself.
Well, Vickie, think about it. When we do animal research, we judge animals on whether or not they share food and feed each other.
Mm.
And yet, human beings, if you look at it universally, we are made to eat together. It's
Yeah.
safety and all this other stuff. And yet what we've done to ourselves is drive through
Yeah.
and grab and go.
Yeah.
And and
DoorDash.
yes, and so all the talk about minerals and everything, yes, yes, but I'm hoping just to get people out of their cars and out of the I mean, and let's talk about energy for a minute, because it's like everyone talking now about gas and and so on, and they're in line at Mickey D's idling their cars
Yeah.
waiting to buy food that is going to deplete their energy as human beings. It and a big motivator for me is that it's energy. Because the older you get, one of our challenges is definitely staying on top of it. You know, staying energetic. It becomes more of a challenge. So you need all the help you can get from all the good food you can eat.
Yeah.
And the more bad food you eat, the less room you have for the good stuff. There is literally anything in a bag or a box, whether it's takeout bag
Mhm.
or a sealed cellophane bag that you're buying at the store, it is not feeding you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Um, it is feeding you in a minimal way, and it is taking away room for the stuff you really need, whether it's
Yeah.
minerals and vitamins or fiber or whatever. It's only in real food, whole food, that you are going to feed yourself, truly nourish yourself. And
Yes.
we're just saying it's sitting with other people. Maybe it's one person, and I think I've mentioned this more than once. Go down the hall, find somebody, go outside and find somebody to eat with. Make a friend, you know. Um,
Yeah, I wanna say what you just said about, sluggishness and et cetera. One of the best things that has happened to me that has made me weirdly way more productive is that,
can't imagine that, but yeah.
I know, but yeah, I know, but I haven't had sugar now for a year. I don't miss it. I don't even think about it. I'll never, ever go back to eating processed sugar. I don't care if it comes in ice cream, cookies, cake,
Yeah,
candy
no.
bars, whatever it is. I will never, ever go back to it because the having my brain function, that is you don't know when you eat it, the dullness begins and you eat your it's like you there's this addictive cycle where you have a bagel and you have it with cream cheese and butter and everything else and you think you're having something good and you eat the bagel, you get a little sluggish, maybe you get some of that carb blues, and then you think I need to go get another cup of coffee. I'm very fortunate. I do not like sugar in my coffee, never have, and thank you Jesus because wow, that's so much extra sugar. But then you go have another bagel, maybe you put one egg on that bagel and you start the cycle again. Or if you've worked out and worked out and worked out and you're like, yes, I have burnt this many calories. Now I'm going to go have a big ass slice of pizza or, let's go out and get a big burger and some French fries. And you throw those burgers and fries in and you're just feeding yourself greasy, sluggishness food. Your mind never gets clear. You don't understand over a period of time that your mind is kind of vacant. It isn't until you kind of sober up and clean up and you do the 12-step program where you're like, I have no sugar, I have no unhealthy carbs, I have whole foods, and that's the key thing. All of a sudden, faculties come back, and you're like, wow, this is fantastic. Your creativity, your creativity goes up, your ability to discern and reason goes up. You're not as defensive and easily grumpy. That all of those things happen just by switching what you eat. Ross says, I recommend everyone do a 180. Understand that your doctor works for you and should be the final word, should not be the final word on your health. They are part of your health process. Thank you.
It
Um,
that's That's an important thing to understand, and I have a simple way of putting it in front of everybody. The worst food you will find anywhere is always gonna be in a hospital cafeteria. I'll just leave you with that.
That's so interesting because everybody's like hospital food. Ugh, that's very interesting. Um, how do you say this? Hippocrates,
Oh,
let thy food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Thank you very much, Peter. These are really great things to have happen. And I want to say that I feel so jazzed about what we're talking about because the simplicity of taking your power back, the simplicity of commanding your own health requires that you have some discernment about where you are in the process and you make it so simple. You have talked about where our awareness has declined, the simplicity of sitting down and eating a meal in front of people, the simplicity of eating whole foods, the simplicity of going and creating even your garden, or the empowering piece of in my lifetime over the last, I don't know, 15 years, I have been married to a gardener, someone who just loves to be out in the garden. And I'm so grateful. What I have learned about knowing where your food comes from, where you're buying it, and how it affects you and how it's going to affect your future has been the most transformational part of my aging process. And so right now we have an orchard where we get our fruit from, and a ginormous grow everything garden. And I think that's such an empowering thing to say. But there are also really great CSAs. And I want to talk about that because most people don't know what a CSA is. But the
you think?
CSAs, I think a lot of people don't. There's a lot of people that are still, they know more about Chili's restaurant menu than they know about a
You're
CSA.
hurting me, Vickie.
I know, but we're going to talk about that right now
Okay.
because we every year also, you can buy a CSA. And what CSA is: community
That's
agriculture. It's
agriculture, right?
community supported agriculture. And what happens is during the season when the farmers farm, you can buy a package of their, whatever they're going to grow. You don't know what they're going to grow. You just get this really cool box, and maybe there's lettuce and kale and cucumbers and tomatoes and a cantaloupe, or it's
And
really exciting to
kohlrabi
get it.
or something you don't know what
Kohlrabi,
it
yeah.
is, right?
There's so many cool things to try, and it's fun. It's like getting this surprise box. And I think supporting farmers, organic farmers that are amending the soil to make, because the soil is being regenerated as well. The regenerative farming, that is the future, and people are going to start finding out that they need to take their health and power back by growing their own foods and supporting these CSAs and having downtime in front. It's like the beauty of making your own meal and sitting down with a group of people. She said it: you get in that car and your car is on idle, and there's 9 cars in front of you with 2 lanes at McDonald's, and you're like, hi, I'm waiting and waiting, and oh my gosh, at $11 a gallon for gas or whatever it's going to go to. You want to rethink about what you're doing, what you're doing to create quality of life throughout your life. 3 tips for somebody right now who is listening to you. Now listen, if you're in the car and you're driving, relax. If you're on iHeartRadio or you're listening wherever you're listening, Pandora, her book, we have the link in the show notes already, and it's Brownies for Breakfast. Pop
That's
that
it.
book up, pull it up for me so I can see it. Brownies
All
for
right.
Breakfast.
I just happen to have a copy right here.
All righty then. Brownies for Breakfast, a cookbook for diabetics and the people who love them. And this is how you can create those meals together without saying Vickie can only eat this and we're going to eat that. This is the beauty of what's at my house. Robin was already a whole foods eater, already vegetarian for a bajillion years, and so cooking was really easy there. So I recommend grabbing that book. So it's there in the show notes. You don't have to stop your car and try to write it down or text yourself. Don't text and drive. And you can go get a copy of that. And inside it, even if it says for diabetics, it's about quality of life. And in that book, here it is. Thank you. You're going to see this is it on Amazon. When you see it in the show notes, it'll show the book and just the link there. But always on StreamYard, it shows this really long link. And there it is, Brownies for Breakfast Cookbook. This is so important. The more you do now, the less you'll have to pay later. This is so important, what we're talking about. This isn't about, oh, here's nutrition, or this isn't about, let's fix diabetes. Now, will it fix diabetes? I believe so. I am actually watching myself reverse and transform something that I knew could be done by diet. What I want to say is this is about quality of life.
Yes.
Quality of life. We have a tendency, Lynn and I, to talk about aging. We talked about it just before the show. And what I want to say right now is you can't beat the price of her book is on Kindle right now. And it doesn't, if you want to grab a copy on Kindle, it's doesn't cost you anything. You do not have to suffer alone. You no longer have to be ignorant. You no longer have to think, oh, my doctor is the only person who can tell me what to do and get this right for me. Or, oh gosh, I got this diagnosis. I guess I'm stuck with it and taking these medications forever and ever and ever. That doesn't have to happen. That's the whole point of what we're talking about today. Take your power back.
Yeah. Don't outsource your health.
Yes, don't
That's
outsource your
great.
health.
Yeah.
3 tips for somebody who is starting, who doesn't know what to do. Let's say they don't even have diabetes. Let's just say they've decided that they don't, that maybe they have a history in their family of something they don't want to get. And they're like you, they're saying, I want to be around for my grandchildren. I want to be around to see them get married and, have all the fun things. I want to be a great great grandma.
Yeah.
What 3 tips can you tell them?
Well, they're really easy, and we've hit on a couple of them already. One, just quit sugar now. Just stop. And the way to do that is to read every label religiously.
Yeah.
Never put anything in your fabulous little body without reading the label. You will be shocked when you do at what is in that stuff. So quit sugar, read the labels, uh, eat greens, eat dark greens. You're probably not eating dark greens now. You're eating some salad. You might have some, but find ways, and my book is full of them, to incorporate dark greens. Hopefully they're from your neighbor, from a CSA, or from your own garden. They're good quality organic dark greens. They are the stuff of life. They are out in your yard for you. Go outside and pick some dandelions. They're free, and
They're
eat them.
yummy.
They're
Yeah.
great. They're great. So think dark greens. They're huge. And I talk in my book about the things that are free. I mean, berries,
Oh, yeah.
blackberries, all over the place like weeds. If
Yeah.
we left here, our place would
True.
be covered with them, and
Yeah.
it would
They're
take.
great.
There is no better food in the universe. So don't tell me about how expensive food is unless you are really making an effort to eat what is provided to you by nature, what is just growing out
Right
there free.
there.
Another favorite is rhubarb, which
I love
I like to
rhubarb.
call celery and drag. It's
Celery and drag.
I mean, it's what a gorgeous color it is, Vickie. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. But think about it. It pops up in your garden and annoys you whether you want it or not. It comes up. It's like, "Hi, here I am again." And it doesn't ask you for anything. I mean, except maybe cut off the blossoms at a certain point.
Mhm.
Beyond that, it's free. It just keeps growing, and you
It's
can
true. Great
harvest that stuff,
perennial.
bring it in, and keep cutting it. Collard greens. I mean, what's going to
Asparagus.
happen when you stop eating crap and you really start thinking about what you're eating? It opens up this whole new world of food that you didn't know you loved, or at least appreciated,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
It's all
That's
out
so
there
true.
for you.
I remember a long time ago, I went to lunch with a girlfriend of mine, and the salad came to the table, and I was like dumping all the ranch dressing all over it. And she just started eating it. And I was like, "You don't use salad dressing?" She goes, "No, you're masking the flavor of the food.
Flavor, right.
You're masking it. You don't even know what you're
By the
eating."
way,
She loved
there's a recipe for ranch dressing in my book that is super healthy and fabulous.
it.
So, and the book is not
Grab that
exact
copy now.
foods. There's a recipe in there for macaroni and cheese. There's coleslaw. It's all
I
this
love
American
coleslaw.
stuff. Well, you know, and I snuck in some cassoulet. I snuck in a French recipe just to show off a little bit, but because it's so easy and so good, and it's a thing that you can stick in your fridge and nosh on for days. This is not, I'm not a chef. So this is not stuff that you needed to go to culinary school to learn how to do. It's
Yeah.
stuff any 8-year-old, any grumpy 85-year-old can do just fine, whether you've cooked before or not. I want you to get in the kitchen and chop a little something, to feel what the food feels like, to smell what the fragrances are,
Oh,
because those
yeah.
are all part of your process, really. And you're cheating yourself if you're grabbing something out of a bag and stuffing it in. You're not getting the whole effect of actually eating. And my brownies, by the way, no sugar, no flour, no oil. They're made from nut butter
Love it.
and pumpkin and chocolate. Fabulous
Wow.
foods, right?
Get that book. Ooh, I have to interrupt. I have to interrupt.
Oh
How do
no.
we get the book?
Well,
Okay.
it's on
Peter,
it.
Peter, scroll up. Here's the link to the book right there. See
But
the
can I
link?
also say, Vickie, I encourage people to go to their favorite bookseller, their independent bookseller,
Yes.
and do me a big favor, do everyone a favor, and say, "Do you have brownies for breakfast?" And when they say no, you go, "My God, it's blowing up everywhere. You got to get it." They can get it from their wholesaler, from Ingram Spark,
Beautiful. Love it.
and they can order it for you.
You guys are just rocking this. The thing is moving so fast. I just want to pop over here because I thought this was cool. Harvard University said 97, it's not an option anymore. Everyone needs to supplement every day. And what is the price tag for your health?
Really
That
good.
that's it right here. And Ross, if you don't listen to your body, it'll make you listen.
Yes, another
And
good point.
that thank you for that, because I think this is the lesson for me. My body was always so strong. I never ever thought anything was going to happen ever. And I wasn't listening to it. I was overworking it. I was underplaying. I was under sleep. I was under everything. And absolutely everything is switched. I am not the hustle and grind. I still, and this is the thing, I've stopped the hustle and grind, but now I'm more productive. I let myself sleep until my body is fully rested. And if I need a nap, I will stop in the middle of the day and take that 10 or 15 minutes. So, you guys, this is so incredible. How do we get the book? Thank you. Thank you. Yes, the link is now right above you, Peter. Here's the Amazon link. And remember, you can order this at your independent bookstore. Go in and say, do you have this brownies for breakfast book? It's blowing up everywhere, and I got to get a copy of it. What I enjoy about your book, Lynne, is that it's about creating community through food, not separation. It's not about you get this and you get this and you get this. It's about how everybody, if they just stopped and ate this natural whole foods that everybody can eat, there is no separation.
Yeah.
This is the complexity I wanted to talk about today that they have made it so complex. Like, oh, well, he can't have peanut butter. They can't have gluten. They can't have this. They can't have that. Well, we make you this and this and this. And moms are running around trying to cook all kinds of different meals. Stop. Just stop. Grab this cookbook that Lynne has got out and make your world a little easier, healthier place. It is that everyone eats like this. And the thing is, when we take a look at eating whole foods, you think that maybe, oh, now we're not going to eat. There's going to be no fun in eating. What's not fun about brownies? Everything is fun about brownies. Fun and food go together in a holistic way. It's not that only crap food is fun, only pizza is fun. Let me tell you something. You don't know how good food could be when it's just whole and beautiful and natural the way it is, and cooking it from that way. Lynne, I just want to say it is inspiring to talk to you. It's inspiring to talk to you. One is you have blown the aging lie. I was going to say a word called bullshit, so I'll say it now. You have removed the lie about aging and quality of life and how to live healthfully. And I love that because everybody is so afraid of getting older. I mean, we do everything we can to look younger, 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 younger. Well, stop that. Let's look healthier and healthier and healthier, not younger, 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 healthier and healthier and healthier.
If you are healthy, aging is so freeing. It is such a gift. I've never been happier. I mean, I did say, okay, energy is a little bit more of a challenge, but it just makes you a lot more selective, right? You stop giving it all away to the same
That's
degree.
right. You have boundaries around it.
Right. So yeah, highly recommend it to everybody.
I just want to say, what if somebody wants to be in contact with you? How can they do you have a Facebook page or
I have
a
all that.
website?
The easy way to do it is just go on my website. It's lynnebowman.com. So you can remember
Easy.
that. Remember that Lynne is spelled Lynnne, BOWMAN.com. And that will take you to all the various social media places. I've got a YouTube channel and all that kind of thing. And you can sign up on my list.
Hey, put her YouTube channel up there so people can go and subscribe to her channel.
Oh, yay. Thank you.
What is it? What is it? Lynne Bowman?
Lynne Bowman.
On YouTube, just Lynne Bowman.
Right.
Robin, can you put that? There is lynnebowman.com. There is her lynnebowman.com. Do me a favor and go to YouTube and pull up her channel so people can subscribe. If you're listening right now and you're thinking, I got to learn more from this woman, then she's got a YouTube channel where you can go ahead and be connected and learn all of those wonderful informations from her, and keep being in contact with Lynne. And when you get the YouTube channel, just put it up in the show notes for me. So everybody who's driving and listening while it's live, thank you for being here. I want to make sure that you are driving safe. Just relax. Everything's in the show notes. That is a big thing for us. And that it's Lynne Bowman, LYNNEBOWMAN. And you can probably type it into the YouTube search bar and she'll pop right up. Subscribe to her channel right now. And after the show, don't leave the show to go subscribe, but after the show is done, you go right over there.
Right.
You park.
Right. And there's a list you can sign up on the front. Just when you open up my website, there's a Lynne's list. And I will not annoy you because I'm too lazy to be sending stuff out all the time. But when I have a brilliant new recipe, I will send it to you and share it.
That's great.
And I love hearing from people who have questions about how they're doing what they're doing with the recipes, or who have requests for me to do stuff. Please get in touch. I love hearing from folks. Gives my life meaning. That's why I'm here. That's what I'm doing. So let me hear from you. And I am very free, perhaps too free, with the parenting advice, marital advice. Just ask me. I'm a grandma. I know stuff, right? So I will tell you.
That's awesome. The YouTube channel is there. The link is in the show notes right there and down below in the thread. I want to say, if you're looking for some fun, go subscribe to her channel. I am. when I'm done with the show, I'm gonna go subscribe over at her channel, because the conversation with you today has been absolutely enjoyable. I just want to thank you for being on the Coffee Break Show with me, Lynne. It has been a powerful, powerful conversation, and so the simplicity of it all. I just want to thank you for being here.
I think I love you, Vickie.
Ditto. All right, you guys, next week we have another really great guest. I will see you right then. This has been the Coffee Break Show. And you know what? Nobody gets out here without listening to the music. I'll see you guys later.